Alcala did not merely kill, he sculpted art from blood and bone. Each victim became a masterpiece of suffering. Strangled into oblivion, revived with cruel precision, then throttled again like a cat toying with a dying mouse. In his charnel archive, black and white photographs of posed corpses lay neatly catalogued beside his most eligible bachelor trophy from the dating game. And in the shadows, 130 nameless souls still whisper through unnamed frames. Background of Rodney Alcala, the dating game killer. Early life and psychological profile. Birth and family. Born Rodrigo Jacques Alcala Bucor on August 23, 1943 in San Antonio, Texas. His father abandoned the family in Mexico, 1951, prompting his mother to relocate them to Los Angeles in 1954. Military service. Enlisted in the Army at 17, 1961. Discharged in 1964 after a nervous breakdown, going AWOL, and a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder. IQ 135. Records noted sexual misconduct allegations and assaults on women. Education. Graduated with a fine arts degree from UCLA, 1968. Later enrolled at NYU under the alias John Berger, falsely claiming mentorship under director Roman Polanski. The dating game. One of the most chilling moments in true crime history. Rodney Alcala, already a convicted sex offender and an active serial killer, appeared as a contestant on the popular TV show, The Dating Game. Introduced as a successful fashion photographer who loved skydiving and playing the guitar, Alcala came across as confident, witty, and irresistibly charming. His smile was polished, his voice smooth, his presence magnetic. He managed to win over the Bachelorette, Cheryl Bradshaw, and was selected for a romantic getaway. But something about him didn't sit right. Behind the scenes, Cheryl abruptly refused to go on the date, later saying he gave her the creeps, an instinct that may have saved her life. What no one knew then was that the man who stood smiling under studio lights was, in reality, a predator in disguise. At the time of his television appearance, Alcala had already raped and murdered multiple women, and his killing spree was far from over. Somehow, he had slipped through the system, sidestepped background checks, and charmed his way onto national television. Watching that footage today is deeply unsettling. The camera pans to a man flirting and joking, while audiences laugh along, completely unaware that they're applauding a psychopath. It's a haunting reminder of just how well evil can hide behind a smile, and how close it can come to blending in with the ordinary. Timeline of known murders. 1. Cornelia Crilly, June 12, 1971, New York, New York. Cornelia Crilly was a 23-year-old Trans World Airlines flight attendant living in a fifth-floor walk-up apartment on East 83rd Street in Manhattan. On June 12, 1971, her body was discovered in her locked apartment after her boyfriend failed to contact her all day. The scene was chillingly quiet, with Brahms' Symphony No. 3 playing on a turntable. Investigators found that she had been raped and strangled with a stocking, which forensic analysis showed required about 15 pounds of force. Bite marks on her left breast were later matched to Alcala's dental impressions, confirmed by DNA testing in 2011. Despite a police bulletin warning that Alcala was wanted for the 1968 rape of an 8-year-old girl in California, the NYPD initially failed to connect him to Crilly's murder. Alcala had fled New York on a Greyhound bus to California shortly after the crime. Her murder remained unsolved for decades, until cold case detectives linked Alcala through fingerprint and DNA evidence. 2. Ellen Hover, July 15th, 1977, New York, New York. Ellen Jane Hover, aged 23, was an aspiring orchestra conductor and the goddaughter of famous entertainers Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. She was last seen at her New York apartment on July 15th, 1977. Alcala, using the alias John Berger, had been seen near the Rockefeller estate gates, where he often photographed women for his so-called art portfolio. Her skeletal remains were found buried under heavy rocks on a hillside near the Rockefeller estate, with a fractured hyoid bone indicating manual strangulation. Her diary contained an entry about meeting Berger at 3 p.m. on the day of her disappearance, who complimented her Renaissance eyes. In a haunting postscript, Alcala mailed her ID to her family with a note saying, "She's happier now," postmarked from New York. This case, like Crilly's, was cold for years until Alcala was identified as the killer in 2010, aided by fingerprint and other forensic evidence. 3. Antoinette Jean Whitaker, July 9th, 1977, Seattle, Washington. 13-year-old Antoinette Jean Whitaker was a foster child living in Seattle. She was found strangled with electrical tape in a blackberry bush-choked vacant lot in Beacon Hill. Unlike many of Alcala's other victims, Antoinette showed no signs of sexual assault. Her foster parents reported that she had left with a man promising modeling work in California. In 2011, DNA evidence from skin cells under her fingernails linked Alcala to her murder, making her his only known juvenile victim. 4. Jill Barkham, November 10th, 1977, Hollywood Hills, California. Jill Barkham's body was discovered at the dead end of Mulholland Drive beneath a viewpoint of the Hollywood sign. Her facial bones were crushed by rocks, and ligature marks indicated a double loop knot, a signature method of Alcala. Her folded jeans contained traces of leather dye from Alcala's rare Olympus camera. Initially, the LAPD suspected the hillside strangler, but case files later noted that the perpetrator took a souvenir, a bus ticket stub from New York City belonging to the victim. 5. Georgia Wickstead, December 16, 1977. Malibu, California. Georgia Wickstead was found in a blood-spattered apartment overlooking Zuma Beach. Her skull was shattered by hammer strikes arranged in a radial pattern. After her death, Alcala posed her body on a bearskin rug and photographed it. Police recovered 37 undeveloped film canisters containing images of Wickstead's corpse from Alcala's storage locker, providing chilling evidence of his crimes. 6. Pamela Jean Lamson, December 14, 1977, Burbank, California. Pamela Lamson was found strangled with a Yashica camera strap in a vacant apartment within a complex Alcala had scouted for location shoots. She was posed in a fetal position, clutching a rose quartz crystal. A homeless man witnessed Alcala hauling lighting equipment into the apartment, claiming he was shooting avant-garde nudes. 7. Christine Ruth Thornton, January 1978, Granger, Wyoming. Christine Thornton's decapitated torso was found near Union Pacific Railroad tracks amidst frozen sagebrush. She bore defensive wounds, and Alcala admitted that she had scratched his Nikon camera lens, which he said he had to replace. Alcala drove her body approximately 1,200 miles from Los Angeles in a Dodge Dart, with gas receipts placing him in Salt Lake City on January 12, 1978. 8. Joyce Gaunt, February 1978. Seattle, Washington. Joyce Gaunt's scavenged skeleton was found in Seward Park's cedar forest, showing damage to the hyoid bone consistent with strangulation. Her clothing and personal effects were missing. Alcala targeted foster teens in Seattle following Antoinette Whitaker's murder, using promises of model emancipation contracts to lure them, according to social worker testimony. 9. Charlotte Lamb, June 24, 1978. El Segundo, California. Charlotte Lamb was strangled with her own shoelace in the laundry room of the Beachview Apartments. Bite marks on her thigh contained Alcala's saliva, confirmed as the first DNA match linking him to a victim in 2003. She was posed propped against a dryer, legs spread, eyes open. Polaroids seized from Alcala's possession showed identical staging, indicating his ritualistic behavior. 10. Jill Parenteau, June 14, 1979. Burbank, California. Jill Parenteau fought fiercely against her attacker. With splintered broom fragments embedded in her palms, her body was found in apartment 214 of the Rancho Equestrian Complex. Alcala's fingerprint was recovered from a blood-smeared film canister at the scene. A neighbor, Maria Torres, reported hearing Parenteau scream, "Not my pictures! Get away from those!" indicating Alcala's obsession with photographing his victims. 11. Robin Samsoe, June 20, 1979. Huntington Beach, California. Robin Samsoe's remains were found near Sunset Beach Pier. Her gold ball earrings were recovered hidden in a 35mm film tin labeled RS Ballet Series, suggesting Alcala kept trophies. Decomposition obscured the exact cause of death, but soil analysis linked her remains to Alcala's hiking boots. A survivor, Bridget Wilvert, testified that Alcala claimed to be from Vogue magazine and made them do pirouettes, with Robin's last words reportedly being, "Is this how models stand?" The arrest and trials. And the shadow falls. The first whispers of Alcala's darkness drifted through Los Angeles in '68. A little girl, Tali Shapiro, just 8 years old, vanished into his grip. A stranger's keen eye caught the flicker of something wrong, a man luring her into his wagon, and hollered for the law. Deputies stormed his hideout, finding the child battered but breathing, blood staining the floorboards. Alcala, quick as a jackrabbit, slipped the noose and hightailed it out of sight. By '71, his name was scrawled on the FBI's most wanted list, a phantom haunting the West. 2 campers up in New Hampshire spotted him at an arts camp, his face matching the wanted posters, and the law swooped in. Dragged back to California, he faced the music, but the tune was off-key. The girl's kin had fled to Mexico, refusing to let her testify, and the prosecution's hands were tied. Alcala copped a plea to a lesser charge, child molestation, and walked free after a measly 34 months, a devil loosed back into the wild. He didn't stay quiet long. In '74, he struck again, snatching a 13-year-old girl known only as Julie J. from the streets. She'd taken a ride from the stranger with the easy smile, not knowing the danger riding shotgun. The law caught up, and he was locked away for 2 years. Paroled again in '77, slipping through the cracks like sand through a sieve. But the real storm brewed in '79, down in Huntington Beach, where the waves crashed and a 12-year-old girl named Robin Samsoe pedaled her bike toward ballet class, never to return. Her vanishing lit a fire under the town, and the posse formed quick. Witnesses spoke of a man snapping pictures of young girls on the beach that day, his camera clicking like a vulture's beak. A sketch went out, and Alcala's parole officer saw the devil in the lines. On July 24, 79, the law rode into Monterey Park, kicking down his door. They tore through his lair, finding a receipt for a storage locker up in Seattle, a thread dangling in the wind. With warrants in hand, they cracked open that locker and found a haul that'd chill your bones. Hundreds of photographs, girls staring back from the shadows, and a pair of gold earrings. Robin Samso's. Her mama swore it. The noose was tightening, and Alcala's run was near its end. The courtroom duel. Trials of a madman. You till use this shift and then toy or a love so wave to stand. The law had Alcala in irons, but tying him to the gallows was a dance with the devil himself. In 80, they hauled him before a jury for Samso's murder. The prosecution laid out their hand, the earrings, the witnesses, the beachside hunt. The jury bit, convicting him of first-degree murder and sentencing him to hang. But the California Supreme Court in 84 threw out the verdict like a bad hand of poker, claiming the judge let tales of Alcala's past sins poison the pot. Round 2 came in 86. Same charge, same stakes. The jury dealt him death again, but in 2001, a federal court overturned it, saying the defense got shortchanged. Alcala grinned from the shadows, dodging the rope once more. By now, though, the years had sharpened the law's tools. DNA, like a bloodhound on the scent, tied him to 4 more kills. Jill Barkham, Georgia Wickstead, Charlotte Lamb, and Jill Parento. Women snuffed out between 77 and 79. Their cases cold as a winter grave till science spoke. In 2010, they dragged him back for a third go, this time for all 5 murders. Alcala, ever the showman, took the stand as his own lawyer. For 5 hours, he played a twisted game, questioning himself in a deep growl. "Mr. Alcala, what say you?" Then answering in his own voice, a madman's theater under the courtroom sun. The jury wasn't fooled. Guilty on all counts, and the death sentence rang out for the 3rd time. The gavel fell, but the echoes of his crimes still howled. The unseen graves, a killer's reach. 5 murders pinned him to the wall. But the law reckoned Alcala's tally ran deeper. In 12, New York called him to answer for 2 more, Cornelia Criley in 71 and Ellen Jane Hover in 77, both young women choked out in their prime. He pleaded guilty, taking 25 to life. In 16, Wyoming pinned him for Christine Ruth Thornton, a pregnant gal found dead in 82, but he was too frail to face the music, and the charge faded. Them photographs from the locker, over 1,000 souls staring out, haunt the tale still. Some released to the wind, hoping kin would claim 'em, but most stay nameless, whispers of a body count that might stretch to 130, a number too dark to reckon. Alcala met his end on July 24, 2021, rotting on death row at 77, the Reaper claiming him quiet-like. But the mystery lingers, a specter right in the western plains, asking how many more lie buried beneath his shadow. Trivia. Here are 10 intriguing trivia facts about serial killer Rodney Alcala, revealing chilling details beyond his known crimes. Near courtroom assassination attempt, Robin Samso's mother, Mary Ann Frazier, smuggled a pistol into Alcala's 1980 trial, intending to execute him. She aborted the plan last minute, later stating, "I realized shooting him would make me a monster too. Genius IQ and military discharge. Diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. During Army service, 1964. Alcala scored an IQ of 135. He received a medical discharge after going AWOL during a nervous breakdown. Fabricated film school legacy. Alcala falsely claimed he studied under director Roman Polanski at NYU. In reality, he enrolled under the alias John Berger, while evading arrest for Tali Shapiro's assault. Polanski never taught him. Los Angeles Times employment. Hired as a typesetter while a registered sex offender. 1977. Co-workers recall him showing explicit photos of nude teens, claiming their moms asked him to take them. No background check was performed. The dating game audition tactic. Days is noli exactly Evres is better. The same. Producers selected Alcala for his tall, handsome charm. During his 1978 appearance, host Jim Lang introduced him as a photographer who skydives. Unaired footage captured his unsettling banter. "Was no cast as Cheryl Bradshaw. What's your best time?" Alcala. "Nighttime. Peel me like a banana." Trophy hoard in Seattle locker. Estavo Minley. In the sometime his worst after into 119. After his 1979 arrest, police discovered 1,200+ photos of unidentified women, teens, and victims' jewelry, including Robin Samso's gold ball earrings, in a storage unit. Many photos remain evidence in cold cases. Days is that, however, produces and storming and legal strategy. Legal strategy was so followed as while incarcerated in 1994, Alcala authored You, the Jury, a book arguing his innocence, and represented himself during trials. He mocked witnesses as liars and screened a self-made documentary in court. The Fair. The 10% 1% most wanted posters. Over IG do that to was already tallying. Photo archive breakthrough. In police released 100+ photos from his locker in 2016, Christine Thornton's sister recognized her in an image. DNA confirmation tied Alcala to Thornton's 1977 murder, 33 years later. The players in Magic, the pain game ritual. The berry time start to prolong suffering, you need to be here. One detective noted, he'd choke them unconscious, wait for revival, then repeat, like a cat with a mouse. Bonus. Posthumous revelation. Alcala died with 11 confirmed kills, but FBI files suggest he may have slain 130+ victims across 7 states. His storage locker photos still circulate among law enforcement to identify unknown victims.